once, and then I had another operation in the area, and they're just like, "Yeah, I heard you really didn't want kids, so I just, snipped you a little more while I was down there."
Whoa!
Got the double snip on the
My
download.
urologist is great. I love her.
Like, we were in the area, so we thought we'd just sort of take a little bit more of a snip at your balls, just in case. Thanks.
Just like do like a little checkup and snip.
I was genuinely grateful. Okay, I was born through two separate forms of birth control. My family is really fertile.
Gross. I don't know why that's gross, but I'm going to say that's gross, and maybe a little too much detail.
The usage of the word fertile, I think, is too much.
Okay.
Yeah, especially considering the word fertile would, that's literally just describing your mum. Like, for a man, it's virile. There's two different words for it, so...
Oh, my backup was potent, but all right.
Potent is also much better as a unisex term, I would say.
Potent is much better.
Slice's mom has a womb that goes for days, man.
My father is very fertile. I still remember that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie where he got pregnant.
You mean Junior? Yeah.
Was that Total Recall, or am I thinking of a different movie?
No, it was Junior.
Junior.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, it was the thing where there was a scientist lady played by Emma Thompson, who is lovely and brilliant, but unfortunately was in this film. Was the pity. And she was doing genetic research into in vitro fertilization, I think it was. And they had this experiment that they wanted to do, but the big bad administrator was like, "No, we're going to cut your funding." And scientist Arnold Schwarzenegger was like, "That can't happen. I'll do the test on myself and prove it works so that we can get our funding back. I'll make myself pregnant." And he does. Using Emma Thompson's eggs, if memory serves, which is super fucked up.
Is it like knowingly, or does it just take it?
I don't think he knew it was hers, if memory serves. But yeah. So... And then he's pregnant, and Danny DeVito has problems with his ex-wife also. And then it's... Arnold Schwarzenegger has to go through all of the usual rigmarole of pregnancy, including going to... What's the term for the checkups?
Prenatal exams?
Yeah, that sort of thing. And he cross-dresses so no one thinks it's weird that this 6'4" Austrian bodybuilder woman is coming in to an OBGYN doesn't really bother trying to disguise his voice to be more feminine.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is unironically hilarious to watch as a comedy actor.
Yeah.
And not necessarily for the right reasons, I guess. It's just his delivery can be really, really funny.
Okay. It depends on the film. Like, some Junior is a fucked up concept on its own. Like,
I think of
but Kindergarten Cop, okay?
Kindergarten Cop, yeah.
That one is actually genuinely great because it plays on Arnold Schwarzenegger's strengths. Which is, he's a fucking scary dude.
And Jingle All the Way is a family favorite in my family, where he has the lines like "Put that cookie down."
Yeah.
So, did
Who's your
Junior
daddy
come
and what
first?
does he do?
What was that?
If Junior came first, I could definitely see, movie creators and writers and stuff being like, okay, we can work with this. It wasn't meant to be funny, but we can modify it.
That's the thing. I don't know whether Junior was meant to be funny.
No, that's what I mean. Like, it wasn't supposed to be funny, but the delivery and the actor and the combination of those things meant that's the result you got. But it wasn't quite perfected because that's not what they were going for.
Let me. I'm gonna check something. So Kindergarten Cop came out in like 1990. But Junior was 1994, and then Jingle All the Way was 96. So it wasn't necessarily like Junior was first. I find it so stupid. It's such a stupid movie idea.
Oh, so we got Last Action Hero in there, which again plays to his strengths because he's literally an action hero character. Batman and Robin, we don't need to talk about that. End of Days, which was a weird one. It's like about the Antichrist, and Arnold Schwarzenegger is one of those broken cops that is on the edge of suicide. That was a weird miscast. Yeah. Gotta have the Terminator stuff. Yeah, and then the Expendables. I've never seen the Expendables.
Nope, never seen it.
People say that they're good films, or at least a couple of them were.
I did see them. It's basically, hey, action movie characters, stars, action movie stars. You want to just, I don't know, spend a weekend hanging out, doing action movie stuff. That's basically the Expendables.
Yeah.
I kind of got that impression. Yeah, it's just like, hey, remember all these action hero actors? Yeah. You maybe haven't seen in a while. Here they are doing stuff.
Just celebrating the old concept that has kind of fallen by the wayside. Well, not really fallen by the wayside, but has, I don't want to say evolved, but shifted in tone.
Yeah.
Like, they used to be stupid and fun, and now they're just kind of gross on occasion.
Usually, yes. I mean, they never really stop being gross, but yeah. At least there's the excuse that they're old.
Yeah.
Speaking of old, all the actors are old, so hey, they're not doing these stunts as well as they did before. So
yeah,
give them some slack, please.
Like in the old days, there was a lot of America fuck yeah, but it was so ridiculous it hit parody levels.
Yes.
So you didn't have to take it too seriously. Nowadays, they take it very seriously. It's a lot less fun.
Speaking of old dudes, my parents were watching Dancing with the Stars last night, and the person who showed up for Dancing with the Stars was the bad guy from Karate Kid.
Oh, the guy from Cobra Kai?
Yeah, Cobra Kai, the evil sensei. That guy. And he danced, and he was so bad. He was so stiff, but like good on him because he's like 74 or something. So like good on you for going, but man, you're not gonna win this. But I'm rooting for you.
I feel like a bit more practice could be involved, but okay.
He was so confident too. But you know what? He's doing his best.
He was paranoid about someone sweeping the leg.
Sweep the leg.
Fuck are we doing? Oh yeah, podcast is the thing that I hit the record button. We're doing that. Yeah. We started this show talking about double vasectomies. That's how we roll.
Hey, we didn't start that way. I just immediately veered us in that direction.
No, we started that way. I hit the record button when I realized, hey, he's talking about having 2 vasectomies. I need to hit the record button. It's really important.
I thought you hit it earlier than that. Okay, then. You're welcome, audience.
When one vasectomy just isn't good enough and you want seconds.
He didn't even make that call. It was the doctor that was like, I could snip that more.
There was a level. It wasn't just like they surprised me with it. They did give me the option of like, hey, do you want me to touch that up?
Hey, surprise second vasectomy. Here we go. Hey. Look at you, all snip down there.
It was great. It was a much appreciated option because even with just one, I was still terrified that it would reverse at some point.
Yeah, that can happen. Yeah. So I made a fun discovery this week. If people have been reading the general channel in our Discord, they might have heard about this already. But apparently Comic Sans is the best thing ever.
Yeah, I saw that.
I feel like the world has been lying to me for the past 20 years. So it turns out, you know how everyone hates on Comic Sans for being awful and terrible to read and looks completely unprofessional and no one ever wants to use it?
Mm-hmm.
The reason that Comic Sans was invented in the first place was it was designed to sort of jog your brain into switching modes, basically. So when you look at Comic Sans, you aren't thinking about communicating with other people, because why would you ever communicate in Comic Sans? You aren't thinking of reading, because why would you ever read something in Comic Sans? So instead you can just focus on writing. Like, it sort of jogs your brain into shifting into a productive mindset because you would never use this font for anything else.
I assume that effect lessens over time as you get more used to seeing it in your own writing, but like, yeah, dipping back into Comic Sans for a chapter or so.
I mean that's the thing. You don't see it anywhere else, so it reinforces yourself by how much you don't want to see it. Like, if you only see a certain font type in a document you're using as writing, like if you're writing in a document and you write in Comic Sans and you don't use Comic Sans anywhere else, then it's self-reinforcing the idea that if you're seeing Comic Sans, you're in writing mode.
Huh. That's fair. What an interesting thing. I don't even know what to call that.
It's
trick. One weird trick that scientists hate.
Yeah. But yeah, it was invented at a point in time when it was actually really difficult to switch fonts. Like, we're talking early 90s kind of thing. When, if you write in a font, then that's the font you're using, and you can't change it after the fact. So the purpose it was used for of writing, like, whatever you were writing, you would have to write it and, okay, I have all this down. Now I have to transcribe it into another font if I want to actually use this in any kind of professional capacity. And the people that decided to skip that step ended up sending documents that ended up looking kind of unprofessional. Go figure. And then it got the reputation of being a completely unprofessional font that no one should use because it's ugly and it looks bad and is completely unreasonable to use in a professional capacity. And so no one wanted to use it, and the entire purpose it was created for was completely forgotten. Even when it became much more easy to use it for its intended purpose, because you could just write in Comic Sans and then switch it into a usable font. So that's kind of tragic, but I'm glad it's sort of making the rounds again and people are getting the intended use out of it now. I certainly am, because I wrote 12,000 words in the span of about 3 days. So, yeah.
Wow.
So that was pretty cool. I am technically caught up on everything that I was supposed to be doing. Admittedly, partially because I'm just going forward from chapters that I missed on commissions, but still, I have not missed anything and kind of overproduced for the things that I was actually working on. So that's pretty cool, I guess.
You have some free time.
No, I don't. I have 3 things to do this week, but, it's nice to feel like I'm not way, 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 way behind.
If you get it done early, then you'll have some free time.
I mean, I'm off next week, so I have free time next week anyway.
Get it done early and you can go on an early vacation.
You're desperate to make this work. I appreciate it. It's trying to encourage me, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was an interesting discovery, let's call it that. I saw What If.
I saw you posting about that.
Yeah. Is that all the episodes we're getting for that, by the way?
I think there's more. I'm not sure on how many episodes there are. Look it up. Yeah, they say 6 episodes.
There's 2 more episodes coming.
Or 9, actually. Hold on, wait.
It is
9 episodes in total. But they're going to have a second season that will also have 9 episodes.
Alright. Yeah, so it wouldn't be right to do a full spoiler cast at the end of the episode, because 1, it's not finished, and 2, it's still kind of early, because it's not finished. So it's a little bit fair.
They've also said that popular storylines could go on to feature in live-action adaptations. I'm not sure about that.
I'm not sure about the base concept, to be perfectly honest. But, yeah, I said this in the Discord for my final thoughts on what If is. Bear with me, I'm going to find my exact quote. It was around the time that what's his name was talking about. Ryu was talking about. Oh yeah, it was Lobo was talking about the wedding. If I wanted, for want of a nail, stories that have cool ideas but never go anywhere, I'd be reading fan fiction. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's fan fiction that's animated.
So?
Also, this is kind of a long-standing tradition. Marvel has been doing what-if stories for... Zero would probably have a better idea, but I'm pretty sure it's been decades.
Yeah, it's been a long... They've been doing what-if stories for a very long time.
Even so, unsatisfying stories that don't have conclusions are not fun. It doesn't really matter if it's animated or if it has a budget or anything like that. Or
I actually...
the proper talent like Chadwick Boseman. It's great to hear him again. Rest in peace and such. But, there's no ending on any of these stories. It just
I
goes well. Doctor Strange got an ending, but
Yeah, the Doctor Strange one that was my favorite.
yeah, maybe because it had an ending. That might have
Uh,
been why.
but like the thing that I've noticed, that I didn't mention last time I talked about this show because it hadn't really started to become an issue until like I watched the next couple ones. It's just like they are, like you said, they're not ending them. They're trying to be like, well, hey, maybe this story will go somewhere that we can turn into something else later on, huh?
They really shouldn't. They really shouldn't do that
Huh?
though. People are
And
already getting confused with the continuity of the main universe from the
eh,
bits that they've decided to just kind of chop out of it. Adding Elseworlds is not a great idea at this point in time.
I'm sitting here. I'm like, okay, but really, you can just end there. Don't. Oh no, you're cliffhangering it again.
Yeah, in the comics books, having a bunch of continuity is kind of standard. I feel like this was
It's
a
also
mistake.
not good in the comics. Like
Yeah,
that's the
but
thing
it's
that people
more.
hate about comics.
I'm aware, but it's got precedent. It doesn't really have that here. I think it's cool, but I can see why I wouldn't be like.
Conceptually, it's like, yeah, you know what? That's kind of an interesting concept to explore. Okay, now it's over, but you're not.
You didn't explore it though.
Okay, I got the premise. Can we? No. Okay. It's the issue that I ran into, and they're like, oh, hey, we're gonna do a second season, and by the way, Marvel producers have also confirmed that every episode of What If is canon.
Oh yeah,
Of course it
they've been
is.
making a big deal about the multiverse thing and stuff.
And yeah, I'll keep watching it. I guess it's something that I do with my family. You
Yeah,
know.
I mean it's fine. It's not a terrible way to spend 20 minutes a week.
Yeah.
Um, I will say I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit with by starting with the. Did you know that women were kind of looked down on in the
That was a
1940s
poor
episode?
start. That was a poor start. I'm not a big fan of episode 1. I don't like it.
Like, yeah, okay. Thank you. TV show. Did you know that there were female soldiers in the 1940s? Because by that point, people didn't give a shit and just wanted to not lose the war. Yeah. I think if you got a woman who could bench press a truck, she would probably be fine as a soldier. I say that, but they, made Cap do USO shows instead of actually making him a soldier, which was weird then too. But then making it even weirder was not exactly going in the right direction. For the What If Elseworld.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mean his Hitler punching shows?
Yeah. That was a weird decision that they made to make him do that instead of being like, hey, we have a super soldier. How about we use him as a super soldier? like,
I I don't know. That one always struck me as it made sense because like he's still just one guy.
he is still just
Like
one guy, but he's one guy that can hit really hard targets.
If I remember correctly, I think the reasoning was because of the destruction of the research. He's our only example of a super soldier. We can't go risking him in the field. because if
Doesn't
he
make
dies,
sense.
well, if he dies, then they lose, I guess, access to a live subject to try to see things and analyze and stuff,
But they
so
don't
they can make
do
more
that.
super
Also-
soldiers.
They have him punch fake Hitler.
Yeah, they have him sell war bonds.
And why? Like, they
He's
literally
better
could have just
served
used
as
an
a
actor for that.
Yes. Yeah, they could have. He's better served as a propaganda tool. That's the same reason they marked Spartans as MIA in Halo. Or not, yeah, MIA. Instead of killed. Because it's massively demoralizing to have your supposed immortal super soldier die.
That whole movie just made the American military not look like the American military, and it was very dumb.
Being stupid and makes bad decisions based on popular opinion.
More ruthless and would gladly sacrifice anything if it meant winning a war. But, you know. So, yeah. I'm not a big fan of What If, but it's fine, and it made me chuckle a couple of times, mostly with the fan service episode, which is what I'm calling the second one. Yeah, lot of references to fan creations and memes and such.
Which one was the second one? I haven't actually. Every time I sit down to watch it, my internet goes to shit.
Black Panther becomes Star-Lord.
Ah. Yeah, that one was real wacky.
Yeah,
Just from what snippets I've seen.
Thanos, a redeemed Thanos going around to everyone and telling them about how, you know, his plan was actually pretty reasonable. Like, you know, Thanos did nothing wrong, people. Yeah. Yeah, that was a very fan servicey episode, is what that was.
Yeah.
A lot of in jokes. That said, still the most fun episode of the show. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what the fuck.
Sorry. I don't have my earbuds on, so the sound of everything is super loud. I'm trying to turn it off.
I don't know what that is.
Is that
There
What
we go.
is?
Legend of Zelda?
The sound of
What game was that you were playing?
Hogwarts Restored.
It was what?
Hogwarts Restored. Little visual novel game.
Hogwarts Restored, the visual novel game.
Yes.
That raised more questions than it answered. All right.
I feel like I've gone on a journey with that statement alone.
It is a RPG Maker game, so it's using all the or Ren'Py or whatever. So it's using all the basic sound effects.
It's one of the okay.
Yes, but yeah, I don't have earbuds currently that are wired, and I don't want to use all the battery on my wireless ones because I have work today. So my system is a little janky right now.
Okay. Yep. So this is a thing I definitely can't link in the description. Yep.
No, don't do that.
Yep. I saw the words Akaba's Witch Strainer, and I'm like, I'm vaguely familiar with that. I'm not gonna link any of this to anything. I might put it in my fucking bookmarks to look at later. But it's, yeah, not gonna link it anywhere. That's not a thing I'm gonna do.
Fair enough.
Thanks for that, Slicer. Alright.
No problem.
That took a turn. I'm going to be honest, I kind of imagined that it might have been what I found out it was when You said visual novel. That's kind of what I expected. But yeah. Okay. So, the did I do anything else? That was what I was thinking of before we were very weirdly sidetracked. So I downloaded the Devil May Cry HD collection.
Oh, cool.
Played 3 for
first
about half an hour, died to Cerberus, and stopped playing it
Fuck.
because I remembered how hard it was, and felt kind of bad about myself for not remembering how to do well in that game after like 15 years of not playing it. So,
Well, if I remember it, I did the same. I not recently, but I did get the collection, and I immediately went to 3.
As you do.
It's a real difficult game, but they haven't introduced a lot of the defensive mechanics that 4 has yet. So yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. I don't remember how to like. Yeah, it's a thing.
Like, does Royal Guard even exist in 3 yet?
Yes,
Okay.
but you have to only use Royal Guard because it didn't have the style switching in yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not ideal. Shipbreaker got updated, and I played more of that. And by playing more of that, it didn't encourage me to keep playing. They
Tired of breaking ships?
No, the breaking ships is great. They are really gung ho on this fucking unions are the best and will save everyone from everything plot. And it only got stupider. It is getting to the point where they're what's the word for really simple and basic and almost childish in terms of writing a plot?
I don't know a shorthand for that, but that pretty much sums it up, I would assume.
Yeah, just it's really infuriating that this thing is so basic and rote and still so nonsensical, and they are so determined to make this front and center of the game. Like, it does not go away until you run through the entire content of the story that is not finished, granted. But yeah, it is constantly chunnering in your ear about the unions, and we need to fight for our rights against the company that literally owns us, and if we try to form a union, they can literally just kill us with no consequence and clone another version of us that doesn't care about unions.
I feel like at that point you should form an army,
Yeah,
not a union.
that is something that I've said in the forums for the game, which is basically, at that point you have so little control, you should just take one of the ships that they give you that is completely intact, because that does happen from time to time, and just ram that shit straight into the cargo elevator. Like, wow. You have no power, so that kind of thing is the only way you can accomplish anything. Yeah, the idea of unions is cute at that point. And yet the game treats it like it would be an earth-shaking thing for a union to form in this giant mega corporation that strips all of your rights, puts you in incalculable debt, and can literally just clone a new you if the current one is starting to be uncooperative. Like, it is so absurd to try and even say that unions might be a viable thing. Like, to the point that even the people that want one should know that it wouldn't work.
Yeah, this feels like a real. I don't know. The slaves in the South didn't form a union. That wasn't a thing.
That is an unfortunate, apt metaphor.
I mean, if the company literally owns you, that would be slave labor. Introduce cloning, and it's just a nightmare scenario.
Yeah, so that whole thing makes the game a chore to play. They have a free play mode, which has none of the progression. So it kind of doesn't have the thing that makes the game fun to play. So you can play the shitty version that shoves a terrible story down your throat, or you can play a shitty version. Sorry, I'm thinking about Hogwarts Restored again.
Good follow up.
Yeah, brick joke. A shitty version that has none of the shitty story, but also has none of the good parts of the gameplay. Cool. That's great. That's great game design. Love it. Yep. Wonderful. Early access, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes they go in directions that are not great, and the best that you can do is hope that they eventually realize, hey, we're making our game shit. Maybe we should course correct. Dunno. I just remember I was very excited about the game when I first saw it. I enjoyed it when I first played it, before any of this story crap came in. And now I don't want to play it anymore. That's how that goes.
Sucks, but yeah.
That's pretty much it, though, I think. I haven't really done much else, like I say. A lot of writing last week, which was weird, but thrilling and fulfilling in ways that I have not experienced in a while, because I've been fucking miserable and had hand problems and computer problems and blah, 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 and everything sucked. So that's cool. Appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you, Comic Sans. Marry me.
Well, you and a lot of Undertale fans are asking the same thing.
True.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's fair. I mean, I wouldn't say no.
That's the reason why Sans is the most powerful.
Sans would be perfect because he just kind of fucking leave me alone and occasionally just rock up to tell me a dumb joke. I'd be kind of okay with that as relationships go.
Yeah.
I'd be concerned about the flames coming out of his bedroom door, but, you know, everyone's got their quirks. Slicer, how's the game going?
Yeah. What's up?
How's the game going?
It's interesting. It's clear the creators of this actually had knowledge of Harry Potter, so that's kind of cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what else have we been doing this week, dude? You went back to work this week, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, the idea of going back to work was emotionally demoralizing. But it wasn't too bad until I was assigned the writing vacuum, because it's like the only light duty task we have. Oh, right. I have light duty until the middle of December, which is 2 months away. Which seemed like a lot until I realized I'm regrowing a hip. So...
Yeah, that's kind of... the work is a light duty. The whole regrowing parts of your body is not so light.
Yeah. So I've been assigned to essentially carry my crutch around with me, and then I've found in my own experience so far, when I get tired, it starts to hurt more. I don't know if that's just aches and pains becoming more apparent or whatever. So it's going well, though. I've only had to actually rely on my crutch to once this week, or rather once in the time I've been working, and it was like to get back to my car after my shift. So, but yeah. So during COVID, we had to wear face shields and face masks. We still have face masks, and in order to make the face shields wearable, because they had this really hard plastic band that go over your forehead just to like secure it to your head. They allowed us to wear caps, which were from the linen department. They were from the hospital. And since they've relaxed a lot of those policies since I've been gone, you can't wear the caps that the linen department gives you, which is I don't know. It supposedly it goes against our standard dress code for the stupidest reason. It's because no approved piece of headwear or work appropriate attire can cover the crown of your skull. So I just cut out the top of the cap, and now it's just a real thick headband. It's real fucking stupid, but yeah.
You need to check for trepanning in case a mental patient escaped. I don't know.
I mean, I would get if that was. I don't know. That makes no sense for my department.
It makes no sense in general. That was a really stupid thing to say. I just, yeah.
No, I mean, okay. Housekeepers or EVS, I am environmental services. We are in every department basically. So, like, yeah, there are EVS workers that work in the mental areas.
Yeah, they don't do trepanning anymore, Sisa. That is where they drill into your skull to relieve pressure.
I didn't actually know what that was.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it and just someone could sneak in something, but like you wouldn't sneak it in a hat.
No.
We have
unless you're a magician.
That's valid.
It's true.
That's
I feel like we're better for that. Here's a ribbon in my sleeve, and it ends with a knife.
Yeah, exactly. You never know if a wandering magician will come in trying to start something.
So yeah, just that absolute stupidity and pettiness kind of ruined the minor good mood I had going for my first couple of days back and made me realize, oh, I hate this job. I hate it so fucking much. Then the bad hours, the consistently bad pay, and the fact that my old Walmart actually reopened their third shift, which is what I used to be, and the starting wage is $2 higher than what I'm making now. Yeah. I mean, granted, that's without health insurance, which is kind of the reason I left Walmart. But
kind of necessary for your current circumstances, yes.
Yeah. So I'm glad I did, but it's still really demoralizing that a starting wage employee at Walmart makes more than I do at a hospital. So, I mean, good for them, but yeah. Ouch. I have not actually played many things or watched many things. I've been on kind of a reading binge lately. Mostly, I found there's an author, forget their full name. I think it's Head in the Clouds, Feet Refuse to Touch the Ground or something like that's their full username, and they just go by Clouds.
That is a long fucking name.
Yeah.
Bad brand recognition.
Yeah, and so they have made the Want of a Nail series, where a corkless Izuku does various things. Like in one, he's a mastermind criminal. In one, he's a vigilante. In another, he's also a vigilante with a different flavor. It's a pretty good series, honestly. The only detracting aspect is, I believe, half of the 4 series are yaoi. So, but it never really. There are no details. Romance is not a focus by any means.
For Want of a Nail, where Izuku never met All Might and also likes penis.
Yeah, basically.
Maybe it was the penis that was the reason he didn't read All Might. Maybe he got distracted on his way home.
It could be.
God, Kachan is such a dick, but he's totally packing. Oh my god.
No! Oh! Curse ship.
He was captured by the slime and it did things. I kinda liked it.
Okay, yep. You said that. That was a thing you said. Mhm.
So,
Does it count as yaoi if it's a slime monster? I mean, technically it was a dude.
it is a male identifying slime monster, so yes. I choose to view it that straightforward because there is so many. That's a big topic.
I mean,
What gender is a slime? I don't know.
I mean, if it's a male dog, then it's still bestiality and not yaoi, is what I'm saying. Like, if it's a slime monster, it's still like monster fucking or whatever it would be.
True. Is there a name for that?
Not to my knowledge. It's why I went for the other metaphor.
I mean,
Analogy.
you usually call it bestiality, since most monsters are beasts of some form. But
Slimes don't really count in that category.
yeah, huh?
Are
There
there
should be a
living
name for that.
slimes? Like actual ones? I don't actually know.
I mean, some sea creatures could probably count.
Yeah.
Fishophile.
I
So
feel
yeah,
like
that's
you've taken us in this direction, Slicer, and I blame you.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. I'm in a real weird mood today.
It
So
might be because you're playing a porn game while you're recording the podcast. It might have something to do with that, I'm just gonna say.
well, no, I just loaded that up because my internet's real slow. So I was hoping to load it over the period of recording. But
Okay.
I
Sure.
played the first minute or so while you were talking about things that I have no knowledge of. Yeah, I think that's it. Honestly, it's been a real quick, straightforward week.
Zero's been conspicuously quiet while we've been talking about dude fucking and monster fucking.
Yeah, I wonder why.
I do.
Yeah, what's up, Zero?
It's an interesting
What's your
topic.
way in?
I'd rather not.
Oh, well, all right.
So,
If it's a slime monster penis, does it still count as a penis? Is all I'm asking.
if it's
No, because it's just a tentacle.
Yeah, it's just a collection of slime. It doesn't really
I
have
think
the parts
I
involved.
think it depends on the degree of the degree to which the tentacle looks phallic, the phallic degree rating of it.
I mean, okay. Let's look at this from another direction. Can it actually ejaculate semen? Because I feel like that's a core component of a real dick.
Depending on the slime, maybe.
Because if it can't, then I would say that is actually just a completely organic dildo.
What if the slime propagates, though, by removing part of itself? So if it shoots slime, then that slime will also become another sentient slime given enough time. Thus, in a sense, all of the slime is technically semen.
I would argue that would make all of the slime technically not mammalian or any other sort of animal that would breed through, fertilization.
Anyway.
I mean,
that's just turning it into an amoeba, basically.
If a tentacle for a slime is just part of the slime, wouldn't that just be partial vor? To put it in something?
I mean, it depends on where you're putting it, really. Let's be perfectly clear.
Okay.
Vor requires it to go into a very specific place.
I'm taking psychic damage right now. I think Hey. So
I think it does exist that there is vor that involves taking things in the butt. So
yeah, that's a thing.
All right, Zero, it's your week. What did you do?
So hey guys,
follow that fucker.
I don't want to follow it. It leaves a trail. Deltarune Chapter 2 came out.
I've heard nothing about it. Please tell me. Is it good?
It's okay. So Toby did something very interesting, which is he kind of established a bit more because a bit more of the mechanics of how this works. For example, there's been significant changes. So in the past, it was like, why am I sparing enemies? Other than like good ending or whatever, right? But now there's a trade-off between sparing and defeating enemies. If you choose to spare enough of an enemy, then they are recruited to your town. Which the whole you have a whole like town hub area that you go to at the beginning and ends of chapters, which there's going to be like 7 chapters. If you decide to kill an enemy, you will get stronger, but you will never be able to recruit that enemy to your town. Even if you had previously recruited them, the act of attacking them and trying to kill them will mean that they just can't be recruited.
Huh. Okay.
So, like, for some characters, it's like, yeah, no, this character is reasonably important to have in your town. Other characters are like, they just have funny dialogue. I don't know if there's any long-term effects of going full pacifist. But there is, yeah.
I think it would be very bold for him specifically to have a game that he created involve more ambiguous consequences for sparing and not sparing an enemy. Because the Undertale fandom would lose their shit if it was in any way better to not spare someone.
Yeah. I don't... The game just came out, so there's a lot of hidden stuff people are still finding. Like, there is technically I guess you could call it, I wouldn't call it genocide. It is, even though it is the sort of genocide route, it's the Snowgrave route for Chapter 2, which is more complicated than just killing all the enemies. You have to be like actually evil and manipulate somebody, and
so basically a tutorial fight where you are nice to her until she decides to let you go and then you kill her.
No. You aren't killing anybody. You're forcing somebody else to.
Oh. Wow. Okay.
And you are forcing them to go down a dark path. And there's implications that, like, it's becoming clear that Chris is not the one who's telling this character to proceed and to keep killing. It is, in fact, you, the player, or something else, or some other force. I don't know.
Yeah, Toby likes that trope of the player being an active factor in the setting.
I don't know, because I don't know if it's the player, though, is the thing. Because there's another element to this that's very spoilery that I don't want to get into.
That's fair. So are each of the chapters completely different? Like, if you did the good guy route on this, and then you went into 3, would it matter, you think? Or do you think it's going to matter?
Save choices you made in previous things and stuff will be carried over, though it's fine to start from Chapter 2. My dog is going nuts right now. I didn't have my save from Deltarune Chapter 1, so I just started at Chapter 2. I do want to kind of go back and play through it all, because there were some changes to Chapter 1, such as the addition of the recruitment system in that one. Yeah, gameplay-wise, very fun ideas for the combat. They've added a whole new thing where, in the past, it was only that Chris, your main character, could act. But now Susie and Rouse have their own S actions and R actions, which are like which are like an act that they can do, which is just kind of a standard thing and not necessarily like the super effective team acts that Chris can do. But you're not stuck with like, oh, only Chris can act, so these two can't do anything. That sort of thing. Which, yeah, the game feels just definitely like the initial Chapter 1 was more bare bones, and it feels more fleshed out. Also, the characters are hilarious. I absolutely love the comedy of this chapter. Especially the character known as Queen. who is a computer and talks with every word, like the first letter of every word is capitalized, and is just kind of this shit poster. I love it.
Huh.
And that's your
Okay.
villain. is this shit posting computer.
Maybe Toby is diving into some of his own experiences over the past 6 years for this now. It's fair enough.
Yeah, I believe that.
Just like Birdley and Noelle, who are two of the characters that were classmates, feature a big part in this chapter. And I fought the secret boss, defeated that secret boss. It was a very fun secret boss. I think it was easier than Jevil from chapter 1. But
he can do anything, I hear.
Yeah, he can do anything. So, what you can do?
I like the remix of his music that is done in 8-bit by Bran Flakes. It was very good.
Yes, there's good music as well. Should probably mention great music is like that's a given.
It's kind of weird that it's a given. I'm not gonna like. Remember that Toby Fox was just a kid sitting his college exams when he was making Undertale. Like, he is a surprisingly good composer for his age. Like, he knows his shit. It's weird.
And the credits were very long, which, like, yeah, Toby has a full team now. And I'm going to say, like, that next chapter is going to be out much sooner than the 2 years it took for chapter 2. He's already stated that he's working on chapters 3 to 5 right now, and there's going to be 7 chapters. So
I assume it's not free anymore. I remember the first one was free.
Chapter 2 is free because, as Toby said, we've had a hard year. So he just wanted to make it free for everybody. But the next chapters will be paid.
That's fair. Honestly, I would have accepted like a $5 to $10, maybe even a $20 price tag. Like,
yeah,
you can charge for your work. It's fine.
I mean, yeah, $5 for a chapter sounds reasonable.
Yeah, but you can definitely see the impact that having a full team has had. Like, there's a lot of polish with the animations, a lot of assets. Yeah, plays good.
With the budget.
I would definitely. I'm probably going to play through it again later on, but just makes me happy that came out.
Can you have more than one file?
Yes.
Or is it okay, that's good.
You can have 3 save files, I believe, at least. So I can do another save and carry things over, whatnot. Lots of intrigue with where the plot is going as well. So I'm excited to see how that all shakes out. And I also beat Tales of Arise.
I'm going to be honest, this entire conversation, I've had the music that might play when you fight Sans just running through my head over and over.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, that one.
Megalovania?
No. The music that might play when you fight Sans.
It was effectively a hidden track in the soundtrack because you don't actually fight Sans except for Megalovania. Like, if you were to fight him in the peaceful route. But you don't, so.
I also beat Tales of Arise.
Is it good? I feel like we didn't come down on a conclusion on that one. Is it actually good now that you finished it?
Yes.
Okay.
The story went to some crazy places, and I feel like they could have done more foreshadowing to set up the third act. Just a little bit more to set that up, but regardless, that was a satisfying conclusion. is very anime, and I appreciate that. And I mentioned before, but each character has their own unique play style. And for like Law, who is the punch character, his whole thing is you want to land as many blows as you can without taking damage. And the more that you dodge and avoid taking hits, the more powerful and faster he gets. And like for Dohalim, who's like your red mage, he gets faster cast times and stronger attacks if he can keep combos up and do perfect dodges. Perfect dodges specifically give him more reach on his attacks and also give him a higher chance of getting crits and stuff and do more damage with his more melee focused things. But the mage girl, Rinwell, her whole thing is kind of what Law, the punch boy, does, except for spells, where the more that she can combo her spells without getting damaged, the more spells that she can cast and the faster that she can cast. Or rather, not more, but the faster. And I learned something. So like you have a boost gauge or like boost attacks where you can call in a party member to go and do an attack mid combo. And there's an upgrade that you can have for each party member, which allows them to give you more of your activity gauge, which you used for your attacks. And if you run out, then you can't use your arts. You have to do your basic attacks. And that can break your combo. So basically, whenever you summon one of those people and they have the proper skill set up and everything, you get more of that ability gauge back. So what ends up happening is that you're playing as the mage and you're just launching unlimited meteor swarms. Because each time you launch one, you then summon an ally. They go, you get a refund on what you just spent. Do another meteor swarm, summon an ally, get a refund, and keep going and going and going. And it gets really, really fast. Or unlimited whatever light spells that you have, like Shooting Star and Divine Blade and stuff like that, which is just basically summoning a giant ball of light to descend from the sky while also summoning a lightning storm on enemies, and everything just dies really fast. Like that late game, freaking late game mage, fun, super fun to play. Just don't get hit.
Okay.
Every character. Yeah, sorry, I had to go off on that because I was like, oh my gosh, I had this realization, and yeah, Tales of Arise is. I don't think it's my favorite Tales of game, but I think it's one of my favorite games I've played this year. Because it's just I found the gameplay to be very, very fun. The characters were engaging, and the plot really went to some places. So yeah, that's a big recommend for me.
I'm glad it's good.
I caught it. There's also a fishing minigame, and I caught every fish. I found every owl. I did pretty much everything that I could in that game without doing the post game stuff.
Oh,
so, yeah.
I found the reason for fishing in Genshin Impact, by the way.
What's the reason for fishing in Genshin Impact?
There is a weapon that is in one of the fishing shops that you can buy for catching the most difficult to catch fish. And you can also buy all of its ascension materials. So it is basically a free 4-star weapon that you can completely upgrade. So that's not terrible.
Cool. All those hours worth it?
I hadn't done the fishing since the event finished. So it's like... It also, the weapon, if I remember right, is a spear, and I have a 5-star spear, and I only use one spear character, so I don't care. Yeah.
Yay. Well, hooray for fishing. Fishing in Tales of Arise you use because if you the thing about fish is that you can use fish in your cooking recipes, and if you catch a boss fish, they allow you to create some of the most powerful cooking recipes, including the one that gives a huge experience bonus when you are fighting enemies, and that lasts for like 20-ish minutes. So it's pretty good for leveling up quickly. Go fishing for a bit.
You know what would be a really good use of fishing in Genshin?
What?
Giving purple healing recipes for food.
That would be nice.
Because there are only blue ones, which don't do as much healing as I would like.
Yeah, that was a problem when I was playing Genshin, was the lack of access to healing.
Yeah,
in
to my
terms of
knowledge,
items.
there still are not purple healing foods. There are still only blue, and I would really like purple ones. And if they required you to engage with the fishing mechanic to get them, that would make sense actually. So I would be okay with that.
I like cooking in games and having that have bonuses.
Mm.
Like, I'm not always a huge fan of like crafting, but I'll do cooking. Sure. Why not? Link, grab all those items and throw it in a pot. See what happens.
Cooking usually ends up feeling superfluous to me. So for Genshin, where it is your only source of healing, if you don't have healing characters, which there aren't that many of those, so it's entirely possible. It's actually pretty reasonable way to get people to engage with the mechanic is, hey,
Mm-hmm.
this is your only source of healing, so maybe you should do the cooking. Just saying.
I don't know. I hated Kingdom Hearts cooking. I loved Breath of the Wild cooking. So it really depends on how well it's implemented and what you have to do with.
Kingdom Hearts cooking never felt worthwhile. Like, I played that shit in Proud. It required
Kingdom
for anything.
Hearts had cooking? I forgot.
Yeah. Oh, you forgot that it was a good place to find ingredients?
Oh no! Oh, now I remember. Oh, this looks like a good place to find some ingredients.
I've heard worse Donald Duck impressions. Good job.
I can't do it. My dad can do a really great Donald Duck thing, but the whole ingredients, like with Tales of Arise, I always had enough ingredients to cook something, and the buffs usually lasted for a long time, and some of those buffs were really necessary for the harder boss fights. Because like I want to have that huge defense up bonus so that this boss doesn't do nearly as much damage, so I have more time to recover. Especially because there's harder difficulties that I haven't even gotten to yet, and I imagine at that point having your passive cooking buff is kind of essential.
Yeah. It is very satisfying in Genshin to just have the gold attack boost item, the best purple defense boost item, and just an elemental shield or attack bonus, and just go to town on the hardest bosses in the game. It's really satisfying.
Yeah. Aside from all that, I've been substitute teaching. My parents went out to go see a Dallas Cowboys game with my younger brother, and that meant I had the entire house to myself for the weekend. And my dog just couldn't help herself but pee on the floor.
I knew it.
And it's like Sunday. I'm like, okay, go out, go potty, get a treat. And she goes out and she goes potty. She comes in, and then she pees a little bit on the floor, and I'm like, ugh, I just sent you out. And I sent the dog back out. I lock the door, and I'm like, you're gonna stay out there for like an hour, and then I'll let you back in once I'm sure that you've gone potty. Then I open the door again, and then she just squats on the floor inside and lets out a huge scream because she was holding it the entire time. And I was just, ah! And I cleaned it, and I sent her out for the rest of the day. And then later on in the afternoon, I go out, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to watch you, and I'm going to make sure you go. And I had to make her go like 3 different times before she was finally free of pee.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
P3.
P3
in the free Windows 95 games.
Oh, and you know, I had D&D and everything, and I went to go during my break for D&D. I'm like, I'm gonna go grab something to eat, and I opened the fridge, and there's like nothing, but there's leftover fish, and I go and I lift open the container, the Tupperware container. I'm like, let me just see. I'll have this, and I open it up, and it smells awful.
I mean, it's fish. Generally, doesn't smell great.
It smells. I've worked at KFC long enough to know when something smells no bueno to eat, and I just like, nope. I guess I have to find something else to eat. Oh wait, in the garage, there is in the freezer there is one frozen enchilada. I don't remember when we got these. This is fine. And I later learned that my dad had he was the only one among us who'd had the salmon, because we had like orange ruffian salmon as the 2 fish options, and it was a salmon that was in that container, and he had diarrhea all day.
Ouch.
So I dodged a huge bullet on that one. But I was still hungry, and so my parents were like, yeah, no, sorry, we'll reimburse you for if you want to get something. And I'm like, well, I'm going to order a 10:30 at night pizza.
That's good pizza.
It's good pizza. I had to add on garlic bread so that it would meet the minimum order dollar amount. So I had some garlic bread and some cheese pizza at like 11:30 at night.
Yeah, I bet they loved you. Just getting fucking cheese pizza.
Yeah. It was like I'm pretty sure it was their last run because they closed at like 11. But I got the order in before they closed, so they had to go and deliver. Nothing is quite so soothing to an empty belly like 11:30 pizza. Aside from all of that, taught kindergartners yesterday. Kindergartners are very, very cute. They are always just doing their best, but they are also very loud.
And they do their best to do that too.
Yep. But you know what? It's like a daily dose of wholesomeness. You're like, there's good in the world. I hope these kids grow up well and don't become monsters.
That's adorably naive.
Yeah, I think that's it for my week. For everything that I can remember.
Yay! That's podcast. I can go back to bed soon.
And writing Comic Sans.
That's for
And that.
2 commissions and a Patreon chapter, and I'm done. It's gonna be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, Discord link in the description. It's public. We just hang out and stuff. Talk about Ryu getting a date and apparently working out until his thighs hurt or don't hurt anymore because he can't feel them.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah.
Numbness is part of the process.
Yeah, sure it is.
It can be.
It's part of a process. Yeah. Patreon link in the description if you feel like it. No pressure. Yeah. Thanks for listening. Bye, everybody.
See you guys.
Have a good day. And remember, Slicer got a double vasectomy.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And he's very
immediately
happy.
Went to play board games.
He's very happy about it.
I am. That was a genuinely constant concern. I have had a condom break before.
Well, never again.
Well, I mean, it probably will happen again.
It will, but there'll be no fear. Only acceptance.
There'll be less fear.
Okay, bye.
See you guys.